Hi everyone, this is Nikki at Nikki Hearts Cards, and I'm so excited to be here with you today looking at these new snowflakes in the release. We are going to be looking at embossing folders and ways to add metallic elements to your embossing folders. We're going to be using the Lovely Layers Snowflakes, the Snowflakes embossing folder. I'm going to use a sentiment from the Let It Snow, although I will use these in another project. And I'm going to use these. These are Peace, Love, and Joy. I love that you can color those letters in, and I have created a fun way to use those. And then, of course, I'm going to use some of the pearls and gems and things from this little collection. I just wanted to show you how detailed these Lovely Layers snowflakes are. I'm going to actually cut some of these out of patterned paper for our projects today. I don't normally use embossing folders on patterned paper, but I'm really loving the winter pinstripes and polka dots, and it looks so cute. So the first way we're going to add color to our embossing folder is by ink blending. And I'm going to blend on the side that is flat with the depressed areas. So the other side, my left hand is on the side where the snowflakes kind of stick out into the middle. This one is where they go in. And the reason is because I want the background to have some blue effects to it, but I want the snowflakes to be mostly white. So I'm using a blending brush and just adding my ink to the embossing folder. You could swipe this, it's just going to be a bolder color, and I loved the light blue color of this. Now, if you have not done it, make sure that you hit the like and subscribe on the Honeybee Stamps channel. I am doing videos on here at least once a month and would love to have you back, so make sure you do that. All of the products that I'm using will be linked below. Now, look at how this looks through this embossing folder. I'm going to be using my Spellbinders Platinum 6, which has a very easy embossing sandwich for these folders. And here's what it looks like when I pull it out. I just love the subtle blue in the background. Look at how beautiful that looks. So you can do your coloring any way you want, but I wanted this to be kind of abstract and just have some blue hints to it. So this is where the pattern paper comes in. I'm going to run pattern paper through this. I have not put any ink or anything on it. I'm going to do the ink afterwards. And I'm using the polka dots and pinstripes. We're going to use the polka dot side, and you'll see I just kind of ran it all through. It just looks beautiful. I think you could be perfectly fine leaving it like this, but I'm going to add a little bit of ink to it, and then I'm going to show you the two ways I did on these cards. I did some metallic elements on the snowflakes, and I did them in different ways because I wanted to show you two different techniques. Okay, so now I've got my embossed image on pattern paper, and I'm going to add ink. This is the same ink that I ink blended on the embossing folder for the other background. And so I'm just to coordinate the projects, I'm going to use it on this, and it matches great with this polka dot paper. Now the paper is double-sided, so the other side has the pinstripes on it in the same colors. We may use that for our snowflakes in the center when we use the Lovely Layers, but right now I'm just going to add some ink to this embossing folder image. And the way that you do this is if you can bring in some dark ink from the sides, and I'm trying to make kind of a spotlight effect, but I'm also making sure that I go over all these snowflakes so that they become darker. So because they're raised up, when you pull your ink blending brush over them, it catches more of the ink, and it just gives a really cool look. So you don't even have to do it as a spotlight. You could just ink blend this whole panel, and these snowflakes are just going to stand up off of it and grab more ink, and it looks beautiful. So here's how that panel looks now with the ink blended and the spotlight effect. So now let's start with the first technique for adding nice metallic elements to your embossing folders. This is Foundry Wax, and the Honeybee Stamp Store does carry this. It's very liquidy, and the easiest way for me to put it on is to use my finger. And it seems like it's so liquidy that it wouldn't stick to the details, but it does. It doesn't immediately shine a ton. You can see where you've put it, but you have to heat it up to get it to be really nice and shiny. And what I love about this is one, it's just kind of fun to put it on the raised areas, but what's really fun is when you heat it up and it starts, it's almost like it sets the wax and that turns a nice, beautiful metallic. So the reason I do about a drop of at a time of this is because I don't want to get too much on my finger. And the way this wax works is that it does dry. So you don't want to squirt a ton out on your mat and then have it dry on your mat before you're able to put it on the project. So you want to make sure that you don't just squirt tons of it out, and you want to make sure you shake the bottle really well. So once I get this done, I am going to heat it up and hold it up to the camera so that you can see how it starts shining. It's kind of like the idea of embossing powder. So embossing powder, goes on one way and then you add heat and it changes, and that's the same with this foundry wax. So here's what it looks like before heat. It does have silvery elements to it, but let me show you what it looks like after you heat it up. So I heat this up with the heat tool and I do the back and the front just till it starts shining, and it doesn't change its texture a whole lot. It just becomes more shiny, so more metallic looking. Okay, look at this beautiful metallic shine. I'm going to bring it up close. You see how much shinier it is once you've heated it up? It looks amazing. Okay, let's look at our next background and you tell me which one you like the best. So I'm going to use the Honeybee Creative Clear ink. So this is like an embossing ink, and I'm going to rub it over the raised areas. I decided that to make sure that I get a little bit of this on the background too and just kind of add some extra sparkle, I wanted to try it with a brayer. Now, the brayer that I have is kind of has a little bit more spongy material than some of the others. It's just one I found at an art store, and I just rolled along this piece of paper in multiple directions, not pressing too hard, with some of this clear ink. And then now I'm going to add this beautiful polished silver embossing powder, and I love how it turned out. What I didn't do before this was use an anti-static powder thing, so I did get some on the background, but I kind of wanted to leave some on the background. So I definitely got my nice snowflakes covered, and I'm gonna use a brush just to get some of this extra off, but I think you could leave it and it would still just look like glitter paper. It looks so cool on the background, so I'm gonna kind of dust it off in little areas with a paintbrush. You'll see me doing that. And I basically just kind of went around each of the snowflakes and just made sure that I got most of it covered. This one is not raised up as much as the other because this is a 3D embossing folder. It has different levels. And so on this one, I didn't get a whole lot of definition on my little parts of the snowflake. So I took a smaller brush and just kind of went in a little bit closer to it. But let me show you what it looks like heated up. I think you could not even worry about the brush and you would still love the results. So I heated this on both the front and the back just to try to make sure to keep the shape of the paper and not get it too warped. And I just love this polished silver, looks so beautiful. I think you could do this with so many different colors and you would be so happy with the results. So yes, there is powder on the background, little bits of sparkly. It's not perfectly defined to the each little snowflake, but I think that looks really cool. It looks like glittery snow in the background. All right, here's the difference in the two. So the embossing powder is definitely more glittery and the wax is more subtle, but still just beautiful. I love them both. Okay, so let's talk about how this first one came together. I backed the panel, this was the one that has the heat embossing on it, in the pinstripe paper that matches. I cut a small snowflake and a large snowflake out of that same paper. So I'm using the polka dotted side for the big snowflake. Then I'm going to do a medium-sized snowflake in vellum just to give it a little bit of fun depth. And then the small snowflake, I'm going to use the actual other side, which is the pinstripe side, so it matches the backing of this card as well. And then, of course, I'm going to embellish with some fun new pearls from Honeybee Stamps. For the sentiment, I used the new Peace, Joy, Love set, and I love that Honeybee makes these die cuts that go around your words and they go around the little part at the bottom too this holiday season. So I heat embossed those with the same thing that I'd used on the background just to coordinate and used some Copic markers to color in Peace. This polished silver embossing powder, I thought it looked best with the matte silver pearls, and so that's what I used on the middle here. And I'm going to pick this up and show you how good this looks. I just love how this turned out. So let me show you how I put the other one together, and then we'll compare the two again side by side. Since the next card, its background is pattern paper, I'm going to create my own, I guess, mat is what you would call it. So this is just going to stick out around the edges, and it's the same color family as what I used to ink blend. So I'm going to create a little card to go behind it, and then we're going to add some ribbon and some snowflakes. So let me pop on over and show you what else I did. Okay, so I added a piece of ribbon that I found in my stash that's a lovely navy that matches this. I'm adding these metallic pearls, which, by the way, love them. These are one of my favorite things of this release. I love these metallic pearls. They're already sticky, and you can just put them on your snowflakes. It's so great. So the Let It Snow is from the Let It Snow stamp set. So it's the stamp set with all of the nice snowflakes. And then the snowflake behind it is from the Lovely Layers snowflakes. And I just ink blended it, added a little bit of that wax to the edges. So let me show you up close what this looks like, and we'll look at both the cards. So that's really it for the video today. Just stay tuned to see these photos if you want to look at how they look together so that you can decide, do you like wax or do you like the embossing as the better option? I am really torn. They both have great looks. Make sure if you haven't done it yet that you hit the like and subscribe. And if you are shopping today, please go through my affiliate links located in the description. Have a great day. Bye.